Hey guys, it's Heather ANCC here, and I just wanted to jump on here and talk about my 2020 ANCC Family Nurse Practitioner test exam strategies, I guess you could say, my studying strategies. If you're like me, you want to research stuff. I Googled, ANCC, FNP exam, like how did you pass it, what's it like, because let's be honest, it's pretty terrifying to sign up for boards and say like, oh, here's like $300, good luck, like that's pretty scary. So basically, first I did the Fitzgerald review course. I did the 2-day, technically it was the in-person one, the live course, but since we're in COVID season, it was actually literally online. So that kind of sucked because it was a lot of information in a very short period of time, and you kind of just ended up wishing it was over, even though you just paid like $400 for it. And you couldn't go back to anything. They had some stuff that they wanted you to do after the fact, which, I mean, it may or may not have been good. I actually didn't do it. But I pretty much would not recommend it just because of the amount of content in such a short period of time, and I didn't find that the content that they were trying to get you to know was actually what you need to know for boards. Like, it's extra, and knowing extra is good, but for me, I wanted to make sure I knew what I needed to know and not go overboard and just be like totally overwhelmed with information. So after I did that, I kind of was feeling very discouraged because I was like, I don't know much of this information, and of course, like I said, don't want to fail boards. So then what I had done was I, of course, did research, and I saw that the leak book came highly recommended. A lot of people say that there are errors in the book, and that is true, there are errors in it, but I don't believe that the majority of the errors really would affect you on test day. So I read the book basically cover to cover. The first chapter talks about the differences between the ANCC and the AANP exam and like who to contact and whatever, and you really don't need to know that unless you're undecided. The second chapter I skimmed because it's about like test taking strategies, and some of them were very good, so I would not recommend not reading that chapter, but just kind of, you don't need to know it like word for word or anything like the rest of the book you would feel like you need to know. But anyway, so I did that, and then I read the rest of the book. I also did the app that came with it, which the app has the same questions on it that are in the back of the book. So if you don't want to pay for the app or your code doesn't work, you can just do the questions that were in the back of the book. I prefer the app, but that was just me. It tells you your progress, your weak areas, what questions you got wrong, you can go back to them. So I really did like that. I also did the FNP Mastery app, and I did that. That's about 1,200 questions. I would say that the FNP Mastery app is the closest thing to boards that there is of the things that I studied. I also did Board Vitals, which I regret because the questions were very difficult, and especially when it came to like statistics and research, the questions that they ask you are nothing like league or anybody else says you need to know. It's just ridiculously difficult, and I wouldn't waste your time stressing about it. And that's what you need to do, is less stress if you're studying for boards. So really, if I had to do it all over again, I just would have bought the leak book, read that once or twice. I mean, I only read it once as it was, and I did pass the first try, but that might have saved me some stress. I would have only done the FNP Mastery app and the leak app. I ended up doing the leak app twice. You can delete your progress and restart. So that kind of helped me shore up my my weak points, I guess you could say, right before the test. I did not study the day before the test, but 2 days before the test, I went through, 2 to 3 days before the test, I guess it was, I went through the leak book, and I just read her exam strategies or exam tips that she has at the end of the chapter. If she says you need to know something, you better know it, because she's not lying to you. So definitely know that. I also kind of looked up like the danger signs that she has like at the beginning of the chapter, for like the GI section, acute appendicitis is in there, stuff like that things that you should know is like a medical emergency or something you should definitely be able to recognize right away. And she doesn't go into like super in-depth detail with that. She just kind of like gives you the need to know bits at the beginning. So anyway, I kind of skimmed over that, made sure that I knew stuff. Like, I know appendicitis, so I wasn't like rereading that because I am confident that I know that. Other stuff that I might not have known as well, I made sure to redo. So anyway, I hope that helps you guys with your ANCC test taking and helps maybe relieve some anxiety that you might have. I know you're going to do great. Hang in there.